Hello everybody, how you doing today? This is Pastor Green. So I wanted to make a quick video. Um, I was working my secular job, and my job, requires me to talk to people all day long. And I was working on the fairgrounds, and I was talking to somebody, and we were right in the middle of a conversation. And I had this lady that kind of stared at me a little bit, walked away. Showed up a couple minutes later, stared at me a little bit, walked away. Happened a couple times. And so finally, like the fifth or sixth time it happened, I said, "Ma'am, do you have a question? Do you want to talk to me about something?" And she came over and she was like, "Well, I noticed that you have a face mask on, and it says 2 Peter 3. And I guess I just kind of want to know what 2 Peter 3 means." And I said, "Well, ma'am, the 2 Peter 3 basically says, in the last day there will be scoffers walking after their own lusts, the willingly ignorant of the creation of the flood and the coming judgment." I told her, I said, I've got a Bible channel on YouTube. I try to talk about end times and creation. And that's kind of my ministry verse. I want people to understand that there is going to be people that are going to scoff at the Bible. And they really don't really want to believe it because of their own lusts. She says, "Okay, thanks, bye." And she kind of walked away. And then I noticed her a couple minutes later kind of standing there staring at me and walking past and staring at me and walking past. And this happened 2 or 3 more times. And I said, "Ma'am, you want to talk to me about something?" And she's like, "Well, I don't know. I guess so." She said, I just don't know. I just don't know how to talk to you because you're a pastor, and I don't feel worthy to talk to you. I don't feel that. I mean, I'm a sinner, and you're a pastor, and I'm just not worthy to talk to you." I said, "Ma'am," I said, you can talk to me anytime you want. You have any questions? I'll be glad to answer them. Just let me know what's going on. And I've noticed that a lot of times people kind of feel like because I'm a pastor, I'm better than, or I'm more holy, or I don't really know what it is. When I go to preach at different churches, sometimes if I'm out of the state, I tell the church they got to pay for my expenses to get there and hotel and stuff like that. And so a lot of churches, and I make this an option that I can stay at a house of somebody, sleep on their couch, or if they have a spare bedroom, and that saves the church money for getting me a hotel. And I notice that sometimes when I do this, the houses that I go to, people want their kids to act a certain way, or they'll clean up the house really, really well, and they expect their kids to be on their best behavior, and they pray at dinner time, and they don't normally do it, but they're doing it just for me. And I almost think there's some kind of I don't know, maybe like a stigma to people thinking that, we got to do something different. I fully expect your kids to misbehave. I fully expect if you have kids, your house to be a mess. And in fact, if your kids don't really misbehave and if your house is not really messy, I kind of think you're lying to me. I mean, I expect it. You have kids. Just be yourself. Just be normal. And it's always funny when this happens because I'm just a normal guy. I'm just. I got kids. They're a mess. My house is a mess. I mean, my kids misbehave all the time. Um, you kind of expect that with young kids. And I remember I was working at a Christian retail bookstore, and this lady came in, and just a little bit of background. This lady, she loves to cook. Her whole entire life revolves around cooking. She's the cook of the town. Um, Everybody loves her cooking. And she came in and she's like, "Man, my pastor's birthday's coming up, and I really want to get something for my pastor, but I don't know what to get him. I had a retail bookstore, so I had Bibles and books and accessories and trinkets and CDs and stuff." And she's like, "What do you think I should get him?" I said, "What kind of stuff does he like?" And I'm trying to pry out of her, information about this pastor guy, and she just really didn't really have anything to say. And I said, "Well, does he like to eat?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, he loves to eat. He loves eating." I was like, "Well, you're the cook lady, man. You should cook him a meal and invite him over your house and have a nice little dinner with him and you and your husband and kids, and invite his wife and kids over, and just have a good old time, and maybe play some board games afterwards, and just cook this man a good meal. She's like, oh, no, 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 you don't understand. He's a pastor. I can never talk to a pastor. I mean, he's a pastor. Don't you know he's a pastor? You can't. No, he can't come to my house. That's just, I'm not worthy to have him. No, he's a pastor. And, it's funny that this kind of stuff happens, but there's actually a story in the Bible. It says that Jesus came to Mary and Martha's house. And Mary was sitting there at his feet, listening to everything he said, She's just soaking up all the information he's got. And Martha's in the kitchen just making sure everything's perfect and neat and tidy and cooking dinner and making everything perfect for Jesus. And Mary's just sitting there watching Jesus and listening to all the stories. And finally, Martha she's had enough. And she comes in and she's like, Jesus, you need to tell Mary she needs to come help me. I'm trying to make things all neat and tidy and perfect for you. And she's just sitting there being lazy, basically. And Jesus said, Martha, Martha, you're concerned about many things, but Mary has chosen the better. Basically saying, you got company, you spend time with your company. Don't worry about how the place looks. Don't worry about, all this different stuff, because, if I know you got kids, I expect that kind of stuff. I expect your house to be a little bit messy. Obviously I don't want to walk into, a pig pen, but I expect to have a messy house, toys on the floor, kids' bedroom's not clean, dishes in the sink. I expect that because you got kids, And it's funny because when a lot of pastors talk about Mary and Martha, they talk about, oh, Martha, she's just she's a bad girl. She shouldn't have done that. Mary, she was a good girl. But I don't got a problem with Martha. She's trying to make things look nice and pretty. And, my wife, when her parents come over, she wants to make sure the house is nice and tidy for her parents. And I'm thinking, they know you got kids. They're not gonna think different of you just because the house is a little messy. It's okay. They should know these kind of things. And I think a lot of people, they think that if your house isn't perfect, people are gonna think bad of you. But the truth of the matter is if they know you and they love you, they can expect it. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. If I walk into somebody's house that has little kids, and the house is perfect, and their kids are well behaved, I start wondering if I should even be there, because it kind of scares me a little bit. That's not normal. That's just not normal. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. And I wonder sometimes if people they think that somehow, as a pastor, you're like closer to God and you can't sin and all this different craziness. But the truth of the matter is we're just like everybody else. The big churches, most likely the pastor just pastors. But the small churches, your pastor is the one cleaning the toilets. He's the one vacuuming the floors. He's the one wiping down the pews. He's the one answering the phone calls. It's just him, basically. And he might have a secretary or something, but, he's doing it all. Your pastor's out there preaching the message, and then he's going afterwards and cleaning the toilets. We're just normal people. And I think there's just some kind of stigma that says that, pastors are somehow perfect. And it's actually quite the opposite. The reason why I'm a pastor is because I was a dirty, rotten sinner and just living my life badly, and I see what God has done in my life and changed me, and I just want to tell others about that. And in fact, I've got about 10 to 12 pastor friends, and all of them, they got some problems in their personal life before they became a pastor. Some were addicted to drugs, some were addicted to alcohol, some were, lusters and watched some stuff they shouldn't have watched. One guy was in a gang. We all make mistakes, and because we seen where we was and where we are now, we want to be different people. We want to tell others about how great God is. So next time you see your pastor, just say thank you, shake his hand, tell him you love him, tell him you're praying for him. Don't act weird around him, because we're just normal people. And I think sometimes people just think that they need to put us on a pedestal, but there ain't nobody going on a pedestal but God. We're just normal people. Just like you and me, we just have a job like everybody else. We just happen to, be a pastor. And I'll be honest with you, pastors don't get paid that much. We don't get paid much at all. But we do it for the heavenly benefits. We do it because we want people to know how great God is. And most pastors can't shut up about the Bible because we know how amazing God is, and we want others to see that. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I want you just to love on your pastor and tell him how thankful you are of him, and just treat him like a normal person. Anyways, guys, that's the video. I'm going to put some links on here for other videos. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.